Hey everyone, it's Michael. Today we're going to be talking about another thing like Goosebumps. This particular film thing, whatever you want to call it, is called Dolly Dearest. It's from 1991, and I think it's a thing like Goosebumps because I've been doing all these reviews on kind of dolls coming to life type stories, kind of like with Slappy the Ventriloquist Dummy, which is a giant mascot and more of the modern day mascot than it was in the 90s, of Goosebumps as a franchise. The R.L. Stine book series, TV show, movie series, all that stuff. Dolly Dearest, I have quite a story for you when it comes to this. It's not super eventful or anything, but it's something that kind of... This movie means more to me than most people would think it meant to them, I think. I did not see it in 1991. I wasn't even born until 1994. So, with that being said, I used to love to watch the Sci-Fi Channel. I used to love to watch AMC, especially during October. Sci-Fi Channel and AMC always did like these big movie marathons. I think AMC still does that, but I don't think Sci-Fi does it anymore. But this was in the golden days of the Sci-Fi Channel, like when they played Gremlins and all kinds of stuff. They'd have the cool color scheme of like purple and pink and white and stuff like that, grayish colors. It was around the time Eureka kind of started on TV, or that particular channel. And I fell in love with the Sci-Fi Channel. I grew up on the Sci-Fi Channel more than anything, probably. That's where I fell in love with the Twilight Zone from this channel. It got me into Ripley's Believe It or Not. It got me into Fact or Fiction and Tales from the Dark Side. What else? X-Files. So many different things that I love to this day that mean so much to me to this day. And that channel is what started it, and that's why I'm so bummed to see them go the way they've become, where they're basically Sharknado TV and everything Asylum Productions puts out comes out on Sci-Fi Channel. It's a shame because it should have been better. I understand they're making more money this way, but it should have been better. You know, it should have been, because, yeah. But once upon a time, like 2005 or so, I first had moved into this house, my grandparents' house, because my parents had divorced. And I loved these doll come into life type movies. Child's Play, for example, with Chucky. It scared me to death when I was a kid. I love it now, but it scared me when I was a child, and I liked this kind of thing because of Slappy from Night of the Living Dummy 3, the TV episode that came out from the TV show. And Dolly Dearest was on TV. I think I saw it from like the 30-minute mark, maybe the last 40 minutes of the movie. Somewhere there. It's about an hour and a half long movie in total. And it was the warehouse scene with the fellow that was left by himself, for anybody who has seen the film. And I loved it. And I've always had a soft spot for this movie. I've only seen it just now, all the way through for the first time, but this is the only other time I've ever seen the film except for that time I just talked about, which shows you how much this film resonated with me and how eerie some of it is. I think, personally, this movie is not scary, but I think it has a great atmosphere. Just like I said about the previous video I just made, talking about a film from 1987, a few years before this, of course, called Dolls. And Dolls, to me, is very much higher budget than this was, but Dolly Dearest has such a wonderful nostalgic feeling to it, in my opinion, from what I see now, with my little experience from the Sci-Fi Channel that once upon a time, so long ago. And it was free to watch on Amazon Prime. That was the best thing about this right now. I was so excited about that. And I would honestly buy it on DVD or VHS or whatever because I like the movie so much. It seems like nobody likes this. When you look at IMDb, it has like a 4 out of 10 stars. Like, why? Why would somebody not like this movie more? It seems like it's more up the alley for people like myself that like things like Child's Play, the Chucky films. And it's great. I really recommend it, especially if you're a big Slappy the Ventriloquist Dummy type fan for Goosebumps. It's not really adult, per se. Like, there's no nudity. There's not really any gore. You know, it's not really scary, even. It has some moments in it that kind of get to me just because dolls creep me out. And just because some of the animatronic work on this film with the dolls creeps me out. But I really like this movie. I don't understand the hate for it. I don't. I get it's low budget. I understand that a lot of people don't like this kind of movie, or they don't like horror films or anything like that. But this has such a fun atmosphere to it. Like, there's no real humor to it. It's just kind of always serious for no real reason. There are some moments that are really horribly acted, especially from the little girl in this film. And yet, it's so much fun. I genuinely like it. Again, if you love this kind of movie, you'll love this movie, I think. I think it's very special and kind of unique compared to these types of movies. Like, you watch something like this versus the newer Annabelle type movies that are tied to the Conjuring universe. I think this is really good, and I like it a lot. Anyway, the story for this movie, Dolly Dearest, is essentially kind of your run-of-the-mill horror film. So basically, it's almost like a small ripoff of The Exorcist, kind of mixed in with Child's Play. It's kind of a knockoff of Child's Play first, but it also has a little bit of The Exorcist thrown in there. The film opens up with a man, basically an archaeologist, breaking into kind of a tomb a little bit in the middle of like a Mexican town, and this demon devil spirit thing gets out and crawls its way into this small factory not too far away. And this factory had dolls in it, but it was kind of like a small shack type place. It wasn't really a factory like you would see here in America, like a big capitalist type of industrial building type thing. It's very much just a small metal shack that would probably be scalding hot all the time on the inside with the weather and conditions and stuff. But anyway, it possesses a doll. Possibly more dolls, but it possesses a doll. And a family just bought this business, and they thought it was going to be a lot more upkept. They just moved down to this area, and they essentially move into their new house, which is beautiful, and they start taking over this business and start trying to get this shed doll factory thing set up and start working on it piece by piece. And the little girl wants a free doll. Her dad tells her it's okay, so she picks up this particular one inside of the shack and brings it home, and she's immediately obsessed with this thing. But she starts acting weirder and weirder. For example, there's at one point a Catholic priest who's told by the housekeeper lady that takes care of the family and stuff, he's asked to come by and bless the house, right, by like throwing holy water and praying at it and stuff like that. And the little girl essentially starts having a big old freak out because she doesn't like God, she doesn't like Jesus or anything like that. And she just starts screaming at the top of her lungs. Everybody thinks something's going wrong with the little girl. And she becomes so attached to this doll that she just will not leave its side. She starts getting to the point where instead of having it in the rocking chair across the room, which by the way is creepy in this movie, and just the whole idea of doing that in real life is creepy to me. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about that bothers me. But then the little girl starts wanting the doll to sleep in the same bed as her and everything. And there's a chance this doll might be alive, which, like I said, the demonic spirit thing that came out of the cave or tomb or whatever has probably possessed this particular one, because that's how possession doll movies go, you know? So that's pretty much your luck here. And that's pretty much the story. I don't want to tell you too much because there are some fun things here. There was one particular jump scare involving a fellow running into a cat. And this jump scare got me so bad. Not the cat, but a thing that happens after that. I really like Dolly Dearest. I think it is so much an underrated film. Like, you have people who are obsessed with like the Puppet Master movies. Now, there's a couple of Puppet Masters I like. I'll tell you that much. But this particular movie is so underrated and no one appreciates it. I really think if you want something different to watch this Halloween, with October being like next week, this would be a great example of a film you could watch that I think you'd have a fun time with, especially if you're a Goosebumps fan, because again, this is not super scary. This is not... It'd probably scare a child, honestly. Because the animatronics on the dolls, or the doll, kind of looks like a witch, you know? Like the way the face is constructed. I don't know how to explain it. It's just creepy. There are some things about this movie that creep me out. And just because I'm afraid of dolls, I'm afraid of so many different things in my life. But there are moments here that do creep me out. And I do recommend the film for that. In total, like I said, there's not really anything bloody in the movie as far as I recall. It's kind of short as a movie, about an hour and 20 minutes, I would say. It's pretty cool. I like it. I think it was mostly a direct-to-DVD film, or VHS at the time. I don't think it got much of a theatrical release from what I saw on IMDb, but yeah, the film is just extremely underrated. I would love to see a sequel or a series or something based around this movie, because it doesn't get the appreciation I think it deserves. If I had to rate Dolly Dearest on a 5-star basis, again, I've recommended it constantly. It's not as high quality as something like Dolls, which clearly has a higher budget than this by far. But the animatronics work, and the attempt to have a decent story, and also the casting of the mom from the original Pet Sematary film adaptation of the Stephen King book, I thought that was kind of cool to have that here too. I would give it in total a 4 out of 5 stars, just on an enjoyability scale, because I had a fun time with it. It was kind of a little bit more for nostalgia's sake, more than it was the movie actually being good, but it was still decent. I still like the movie a lot. I think there's a lot more here that I think younger audiences would enjoy more than the adult audiences who have seen everything by now. This is not on the plane of filmmaking like the original Child's Play, or like even the remake of the recent Child's Play film that came out that I love to death too. But it's good for what it is. You know, if you like these cheesy, silly, weird, goofy type movies, from back in the day, then I think you'll love it, especially if you like possessed doll movies. Really good one. I recommend Dolly Dearest. Again, 4 out of 5 stars. What do you guys think about Dolly Dearest? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you have to say about my review, about the film, about so many different things when it comes to these possessed doll films. If you happen to have any recommendations for any you'd like me to check out that may or may not be free to watch on Amazon Prime's membership thing, I'll check them out as much as I possibly can. I have a lot of different things I'm trying to cover this month because of October, and I want to talk about things like Frankenstein films and Dracula movies and Wolfman and mummy stuff and all kinds of different things I have to talk about. But I'll try to make some room for things people tell me that I should watch, you know, just because I want to. I don't know how much I'll get to everything, but I'm going to try, you know. But anyway, guys, what are your thoughts? Put them down below. Thank you for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.